Welcome to Breaking the Vow on Strong Island Radio. This is a show where we turn pain into power and find recovery after divorce, separation, and breakups. This is where we push the emotional hang-ups to the side and create a plan to reach our best possible potential. This is where the next chapter starts and how the healing begins. So let's welcome your hosts, Theresa D. and Benny, the life coach.
And welcome to another episode of Breaking the Vow. I am Theresa D. and I'm here with my co-host,
Benny, the life coach. So I think we have something exciting to talk about today.
We do.
I think we have a guest.
We do.
Want to talk about that?
Yes, we do.
Uh-oh. We're dropping papers. People are dropping papers and throwing things around in the studio. We usually don't let the guests...
Not until the end of the show.
Not until the end of the show. So would you care to do the honors and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Annemarie Grattan, and I am a divorce and family mediator, but I'm also an attorney for children, predominantly in Suffolk County, New York.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of...
Yes, there is.
There's a lot of
there is.
misunderstandings about what that means.
Okay, so Annemarie, can you please explain what an attorney for the child is?
Yes, of course. In the past, pre-2017, we had the term law guardian, which meant that the law guardian was to guard the child's interest, to do what was in the child's best interest, and to advocate for them and before the court. They were almost seen as an arm of the court, where the judge would look to the, quote, law guardian to see, well, what should I do in this particular custody case or neglect case, and who should the child live with? And the judge would therefore look to the attorney at that point in time called a law guardian to decide or help the judge decide what to do with the case. In 2017, that completely changed. Now, a law guardian is called an attorney for the child or an attorney for children, and their role is completely different. And I think there are a lot of misconceptions as to what the role of the attorney for the child actually is.
Yes.
So I'm just going to lay it all out there.
Yes.
An attorney for the child is an attorney for the child.
Right.
Sounds really crazy, but very simple.
Doesn't mean you can take kids away from people.
Yes, the biggest misconception is that the attorney for the child can take your kids away.
Right.
That is so not the case, right, Annemarie?
Definitely not the case.
Okay.
The attorney for the child or the attorney for the children is simply an attorney that advocates for what that child wants. Mom and dad have an attorney in a divorce or custody case or an abuse or neglect case, and that attorney's job is to advocate for what mom or dad want.
Right.
In the situation when the child or children get an attorney, that's that attorney's job. They're not looking to do what's best for the child. They're not allowed to do what's best for the child. And they're not allowed to do anything other than advocate zealously for that child's position. If that child is capable of knowing voluntarily and considered judgment, basically, they know what's going on.
Right.
Usually, after 7 years old, they consider the age of reason in New York. After the child is 7 years old, they are determined to have knowing, voluntary, and considered judgment. So you must advocate for that child client's position, not what's in their best interests.
Right. Just what they want.
What they want. And the only time that you're able to deviate from what they want is in very, very limited circumstances.
Like abuse?
Well, there's actually, if doing what the child wants will subject them to substantial risk of imminent serious harm. So if mom and dad are living in a house and mom and dad are violently addicted to drugs and very unsafe, making extremely difficult decisions, not able to care for the children in any way, shape, or form, and your child client still says, I want to live there, then you have to advocate for that position.
Right.
And then you can say to the court or to whomever you're discussing the case with, my client wants X. However, I'm deviating from what my client wants because it will subject them to the substantial risk of imminent serious harm.
Imminent serious harm being
A very, very, very high threshold.
Yes.
So you're not taking kids away. I don't have that authority.
Right.
No attorney for children in the Suffolk County or any part of the state of New York has the authority to take your kids away.
Okay.
The only person that can make that determination is a judge based upon an agreement that you're voluntarily saying, hey, I got to get some stuff together. I really need to get straight. I
Right.
really need to get clean. Please, I'm going to agree that my children go with grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, the other parent while I get myself better. Or there's a hearing where they determine that the child will be in imminent risk of substantial harm, and the judge is making that decision.
Right. Not you.
No.
The judge is making that decision.
I'd be in a very different
folks,
tax
we've
bracket.
just gotten clarification. An
Right.
attorney for the child cannot take your kids away.
I think so. First off, unfortunately, and we said this on our last show, people Google things,
Of course.
Yes.
and or if it's on Facebook,
It's got to be true.
It
Of
has to be
course.
true.
It
Yeah.
has to be true. Oh,
And in my
God.
case, that this is what happened and this is what's going to happen, of course.
Right.
If my friend got X, I'm getting Y.
Right.
And this has to happen.
Right.
And it doesn't. And we've had other attorneys on that really say the same thing. Yet people still smack their head up against the wall. And I think that one first question I have, I mean, it must be very difficult because although you have a job and you are a professional, you are human. And I listen. I am sure you see things that hit the heartstrings.
Oh, of course,
Of
of
course.
course. Before I became an attorney, I was actually a teacher. I taught
Oh.
elementary and middle school in very inner city Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee. And the situations that I saw the children I was teaching experience was absolutely heart-wrenching. And that was one of the reasons that I became an attorney. I went to law school to be able to advocate for children, to be able to be their voice, because most of the time they don't have one
Right.
at all. And as an attorney for children, you can do so much to help the situation.
So one thing, it just came to my mind, and it's another movie, and I'm gonna get
Right.
made fun of.
Right. Go ahead.
I'm getting made fun of.
And I probably haven't seen it.
I feel old right now. So, did you ever hear of a movie called Irreconcilable Differences?
I've heard of the movie. I can't say I've seen it.
All right. So
That was a great movie.
it was a good movie. She's like, I want to divorce my parents. I think every kid has said that at some
Yeah,
point. They didn't
of
know.
course, especially when they turn teenage years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That means
I
you're doing something right.
Right.
Probably. I
Right.
think it's difficult to raise a child in a functional home.
Right.
You know, everyone has their little common dysfunction. I grew up in your normal, everyday, average, dysfunctional household.
Right.
We all, God bless the dead, my father was born in 1929, so he was born out of the Depression, right? And the way he saw things was extremely different than the way, like, say, my friends' fathers would see them.
Of course.
And my father was married previously.
Okay.
And my mother as was too, but I think my father he had 3 children.
From the previous relationship.
Yes, and I guess you would call them my brother and sisters. We don't talk for a million different reasons, and then it's really more on them than me. But I remember how my father was, and I remember how he felt, and I remember at least one side of the story, the version of that I heard, was of course going to be the one that protects my father's interest because everyone's
Right.
got to be loyal to him on this side. I'm sure there was another side, but I do remember what happened and how painful it was to see parents pit children against one side or
Yes.
the other.
Yeah.
How would you say that is probably the most common thing?
I think because parents honestly feel as if it's going to advance their case. They really think it's going to help them. If I can get the child to align with me, then their attorney will align with me, and then it will be 2 against 1 for the judge. But they don't see the harm that they're doing to the children
Right.
in that process.
So that's a great thing to say. I like that you use the word harm because I don't believe anyone's like twisting their mustache and saying, I am totally going to screw my kids up. This is going to be great.
Right.
I think they don't see that because, anger kind of blinds you, resentment blinds you, right? When you say they don't see the harm they cause. What kind of harm are we talking about?
Well, I think a lot of times in divorce, especially, parents are not at their best. I see clients at their absolute worst because divorce affects every single aspect of your life, your home, your job, your financial resources, and your children, and the access you have to them.
It's your whole world. It affects your whole world.
It affects everything. And so you get into a self-protective mode where you're not seeing that you're causing collateral damage to your children.
Right.
And it's can't be seen in a vacuum because you're dealing with it on an everyday basis, especially when you're going to court. It's very emotional. It's very intense, anxiety-producing, crazy time. And then you're trying to also do the stuff that challenges families on a regular basis, like get your children up, get them dressed, get them ready for school, get the homework done.
For like daily chores.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I find very enlightening in this circumstance, because they are parents that, although they're going through basically hell on earth on their own, because the divorce process can be very challenging depending upon your circumstances, they're able to still keep it together. And the best parents in divorces are the ones that still hold their children accountable, still maintain the structure, the guidance. Yes, we still have rules. You're a member of the family. Your dishes go in the sink or the dishwasher when you're done consuming the food that we all enjoyed as a family. Not, oh, you don't have to do that. I got it. Because when the divorce is over, you then have to undo all of that.
Yes.
Right.
And
So like,
enabling that you did during the divorce. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, goodness, I just created a monster.
Yeah,
and
'cause
you do.
the little-
Unfortunately.
You
And
do.
it's not intentional.
Right. It's not.
So as someone who has been divorced and as a dad, there were times where I would let things go a certain way, and then later on, you can't change the field later on. So you have to set the field in play, and keep it that way, because as it is, their whole world just changed. So to change them again is one thing. Another thing I was thinking when you're talking about it, so it's such an interesting thing again about that harm. They think it's going to advance their case. And another thing I've learned is people blame. Look what you're
it's
doing
the blame
to your
game. Happens all the time.
Well, you're doing this to your child. You're pitting them against me because of you. Yeah, but you're doing this because of you. And at no point. So we have on our board over there.
Yeah.
Can you read that? What does that say?
Hashtag F up.
No.
Fess
F
up when you mess
It's
up.
certainly
Yeah.
not F up. Well, it could be.
But it could be.
It could be because we do that
I
a
like
lot.
that one better.
Fess up when you mess up.
Shut the F up when you mess up. Maybe I don't know. That could be it too. We do curse here. It's all right. But actually, you know what? I'm impressed. I haven't cursed.
You
Once.
haven't. Not even once.
On this
I'm proud of you.
How many shows is this? 5 now.
I know.
And I didn't curse.
And we have to take a break soon.
Yes, we do.
So we
So
have to pay the
when we
bills?
come back, I'm not cursing when we come back. I'll
No.
curse during the break.
Yes. Okay.
All right, I'm
Get
gonna
it all
cut-
Out of
out.
your system.
Get it
Son
all
of
out.
a... All right, so this is what you're going to do. I had a flat tire. Do you know who I called?
You call Tommy.
I did at 631 Tire and Wheel, 666 West Hoffman Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, 11757. Or you could go to 631tire.com, 631-412-5165, and ask for Tommy.
Tell him Theresa sent you.
Or Benny. I'm still here, but he helped me out, and I know he'll help you out.
Well, stop hitting potholes.
Smart move. Went to buy a bunch of patio furniture, went to the guy's house, got destroyed by the weather. I asked him, I go, why didn't you cover this? He says, I didn't know I could. I didn't know how to do that. I said, I got a whole idea for you, buddy. Everything will be sold if you just take care of your equipment. He says, how do I cover it? Guess what I told him to call?
Wrap America.
Absolutely. They have a reusable zipper wrap, completely covers RVs, wave runners, patio equipment. It's great. If you go to wrap-america.com, ask for Tommy if you call 516-830-0040. So, we're not getting out of here on time?
No, we're not.
Is that
and that's all your fault.
It is my fault. All right, so then I want lunch.
Yes.
Does that mean I have to buy lunch?
Yes.
If I'm buying lunch, I want Giovanni's Pizza.
You got it.
All right, so I'm going to call 631-669-9507. They're at 1009 Little East Neck Road in West Babylon, New York, 11704, and I am getting a chicken parm. I know your father likes that.
Oh, my father loves his chicken parm.
I love everything they make. Gio, I'm getting fat, and it's your fault, but I love every minute of it.
Hey, Ben, did you know 65% of people have curly hair? And the biggest problem that holds them back from embracing their curl is frizz.
Frizz.
Yes.
I do know about frizz.
Curl Evolution, located at 233 East Main Street in Babylon Village, is solving that problem.
Good.
They're Long Island's top curly salon. They specialize in cuts and colors, especially for curly hair.
I'll tell you, if you have a bad hair day, that's who you go to.
Yes, you do. They cut curls differently as well, totally different than straight hair. It's done dry.
Dry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Teach me more.
Yeah. It's because of their individual curl pattern.
Oh.
They have over 2,500 five-star reviews, so you can check them out at curlevolution.com. They're located at 233 East Main Street in Babylon, 631-422-4200.
I want my hair to be curly just so I can go.
Yes.
I'm going. Listen, if you need a lawyer, I'm going to tell you what to do. A lot of this show is about divorce, taking the proper steps to get divorced. If you're going to do that, you want the right attorney. The right attorney is more than half the battle, if you ask me.
Yes.
So what I would do, I think you know who I'm going to tell people to call.
Yes.
Who am I going to tell them to call?
Gene Mercurio.
Absolutely. 57 West Main Street, Suite 130, Babylon. What's that number again?
It's 631-543-0032.
Gene is a friend and a warrior of the show. Give her a call. So we're back now. And I didn't curse
And
either.
you did curse.
Son of a... No, I didn't. Well, no, I've said it, it's a bitch.
Yeah.
That's a female dog.
Okay.
That's not a curse.
Listen, I agree with you.
Listen, I have a bad mouth. Ready for this? They brought me into a high school to do a presentation.
Oh, yes.
So the nicer the school or the nicer the area, the more they want me to lay it on. They don't care, say whatever you want. I went into these kids are homeless, they saw the worst in the world, and I go in there and I just start speaking, and after I did my presentation, I got called into the principal's office.
Yes, you got in trouble.
Yeah, I'm a grown up. What?
You're really not, but okay.
No, yeah. So
I play one on TV.
I go, yeah, totally. I go. Am I really being sent to the principal's office? And the principal goes, she goes, yes.
Okay.
I was like, okay. So I go, she goes, we prefer they don't use that language. And if they hear you use it, they're going to use it. I go, I'm pretty sure they use it anyway, no?
Right.
And she said, well,
We don't want
you here if you're going to do that. So then I went back and I did a whole. Usually I stand up when I do presentations. I'm kind of out there, but these kids were it's so heartbreaking. But in any case, I didn't curse, and I'm not cursing now yet. Yet.
There's still time.
So here's the question for you. Are you ready?
Sure, of course.
All right. So you said the law changed in 2017. Would you say the law changed for the better? So it went from law guardian to attorney for the child. Do you think the law improved? Are you allowed to answer that?
I can give my personal opinion, but I think what happens is instead of the law guardian almost being an arm of the court and assisting the judge, instead they're actually an attorney. They're advocating. They're cross-examining witnesses to advance their client's position. They're eliciting testimony to advance their client's position. They're actually being an attorney for the children that they're not hired, because we're not hired, we're appointed by the court to represent. And I think that that's true to the role of an attorney. Mm-hmm. Before you were, I think, as a law guardian, you were an attorney, but you weren't advocating like an attorney is supposed to. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the times in that realm, you were taking the judge's role away from him or her, because the judge is the one that's supposed to determine what is the best interest of these children, not the attorney for them.
Right.
Do you find it that judges sometimes or often not regard or listen to the opinion of the law guardian previously or the attorney for the child?
I think judges are human, and they discount often anyone's position. All attorneys,
You gotta say
They don't
what
want to.
you-
They
I
don't want to
wanna
listen to Dad's attorney because Dad's attorney is not
Right, they
being
don't like
respectful.
Dad's
So guess
attorney.
what? We're
I-
not listening. But
I
it's not. I don't
wouldn't-
think out of like. I don't think that a judge is not going to listen to what you have to say because they don't like you as a person. But a lot of the time, it's all about delivery. So it's not that they're not listening to the attorney for the child's position. It's perhaps the attorney for the child is not being respectful to the court or
the parent,
Right.
either or.
Right.
or advocating in the correct way.
So I want you to repeat something that you just said. Judges are, what did you just call them?
Judges are human, and
Yeah.
their
We
job is to
forget
interpret
that.
the law.
Yeah.
We forget that.
People forget that.
Right. So are attorneys.
So are attorneys, and so
Right.
are the parents that are involved. And I think a lot of the time that's one of the biggest challenges because you're managing personalities
Right.
and human emotion while also trying to
right.
advocate for your
the-
position
for
of
the
your
child.
client.
Right. Have you ever found yourself in a position where the case was so intense that you were not sure you could properly advocate for the child?
The case was so intense, not necessarily, because I've dealt with a lot of very challenging circumstances in my prior life as a teacher. And it wasn't that the case was so intense, but some of the time the emotions get so intense.
Right.
And I've, unfortunately, parents not very kind to you because they don't think that.
Well, they think you're the enemy.
Of
You're trying
course.
to take my
Right.
kid away.
You're
Yeah,
trying
you're
to take my
take my-
kid away. That's the biggest misconception.
Correct.
So have you ever been so affected that like you went home and cried?
Of course, because of the child clients that I represent, almost like my own children.
Right.
Good for you.
And
They are. They're
they
all
are.
your children.
And it's really hard to separate from what you are dealing with during the day. Because I handle abuse and neglect cases and custody cases.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, the abuse and neglect cases are not as bad as the custody cases, which is probably mind-blowing.
That
No,
is
you know-
mind blowing.
So what we talk about here, the whole idea of this show is to find recovery, right? That's like our catchphrase.
Yeah.
You know, to turn pain into power and find empowerment, find recovery after a breakup, separation, or divorce. And what happens is people, listen, they're coming at you with their guns blazing.
Right.
Because hell hath no fury, like a woman or anyone or man or anyone scorned. And when that happens, it's all about I'm right, you're wrong. I have to win, you have to lose.
Right.
Therefore, until that happens, that I've watched people lose their entire bank account. Just
Yeah.
to be right. Just to be right.
I'm a matrimonial attorney, and I had people litigate over a flat screen TV. I
Yes.
need you to bring emotion over this flat screen TV because I want it back.
We-
And I said, well, you are going to be reading this document that says, I understand that purchasing a new or multiple new flat screen TVs are going to be far less expensive than litigating over but it's about the principle of the thing. It's the principle.
Right.
I understand, but I need you to understand, in the grand scheme of things, it's
Right.
not always advisable to cut your nose off to spite
Right.
your face.
So now, if you go in front of a judge and a judge sees the order for a flat screen TV, what does that judge say?
That's the other thing, because we are all human.
Right.
And where I practice, it's a very small pond. So one day I may be representing mom, another day I'm representing dad, and another day I'm appointed to represent the children. And you have to go in there with a straight face.
Yes.
And
Yeah, that's gotta
And
be-
litigate.
with a straight face.
And litigate over a TV.
Over a TV.
I'm bringing it up again. We talked about this the last week in the last show about did you ever see When Harry Met Sally?
Yes.
Okay, the wagon wheel coffee table. Guys, if listening at home or wherever you're listening to in your car, whatever you're doing, please, you go on YouTube and you'll listen to this part when one day you're gonna be in court fighting over this Roy Roger wagon wheel coffee table.
Right.
And that's really what it is. So we had Jean on last week, and she talked about people fighting over a pen.
Yeah, this pen. I want this pen
Right.
because I know you want this pen. That's the only reason why I want this pen.
So I have seen I have seen cases where, in divorce, where just to hurt the person,
Yeah.
and especially if one side is financially dominant,
Yes.
I'll just keep going to court.
Exactly. I'll just keep taking them to court.
I have not sued a lot of people. I had one civil suit, right? And it was a store. I'm not saying the name of the store.
Don't.
I'm not.
Don't.
Wait, I can't say that, right? I got an attorney right in front of me. So, but I'm not saying the name of the store, but I got hit by something in the store. So I did. Mm-hmm. So it hurt my knee. So I remember they called me the next day. Hey, Mr. Kimmel, how are you? Damn glad to talk to you. Just wondering, are you thinking maybe about?
Right. Are you going? They should have just come right out and said, "Are you going to sue me?"
Yeah, no, but they said it in like really big words. I thought that was great. And then this woman kept on coming back at me. I'm like, you sound really, really smart. She's like, well, thank you. I go, you use a lot of big words. I don't know what those words mean. You should call my attorney. He's got like a dictionary. He actually went to school. He's got diplomas on the wall. And she's like, right, well, Mr. Kimmel, if you use an attorney, then you're going to have to give them, they're going to, whatever the word she said. And I go, yeah, see, there you go. You're smart. I don't know what that word means. My attorney totally knows what that word means. You should speak to him. And then I had to go for an MRI. I had to get my knee scoped and all this stuff. And then my attorney goes to the guy. He's like, what do you want to do? The guy goes, well, what do you want to do? He goes, my client will just keep going to a doctor. You're going to have to pay for it. He hurt his knee. What do you want to do? And like literally that was the conversation. I was younger and I was like, so what does that mean? He's like, they settle it.
Right.
I was like,
but in a divorce case, it's completely different because you're fighting back and forth in a lot of cases.
But in the same token, I'm thinking of different clients that I've had in my life. They were like, so I've had different kinds of clients. Some of my clients have no money and some of them have a lot. And I remember this guy like, she just keeps taking me back to court. She just keeps taking me back to court. I'm like, well, figure it out, man. Like, figure it out, because do you want to keep fighting? But the thing is...
But in some cases, you don't want to fight, but you keep getting taken back to court.
He kept on getting taken back to court because they were using the child.
Like
or the children, I should say, as like weapons.
And that's disheartening.
Oh my God! He's like anything that she would ask for was so incredibly unrealistic.
Right. It was just to go back to court.
Right. Right. And what do? By the way, folks, I know you can't see the smile on you. You're my new best friend. I love you so much right now. Yeah. So I want you to explain the smile to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you do when they keep wanting to go back to court? The best thing that you can do for your children is think about what they would benefit from. For example, if you are the one that took them to school, make that continue. Do whatever you can to make that continue. Mm-hmm. If mom was the one that tucked them into bed, make sure that continues, because that's their normal.
Right.
Children are resilient and they will adjust to a new normal, but they don't want to have to choose. And at the end of the day, they don't have to choose.
Right.
And even if they are old enough and want to choose, they can change their mind, because they're allowed to do that, just like any other client. But also, the judge doesn't have to go with what they want. They're just one position. Mom has a position, dad has a position, the child has a position. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if you don't make them choose and the adults act like adults and make the decisions and then say, guess what? Here's what you're having for dinner tonight. Here's where you're going to school.
Right.
And guess what? It's mom's weekend. So pack your stuff. We're getting in the car.
Right.
And that's the best thing you could do for your children, is to figure it out and take that choice away from them, because they have enough choices to make in their lives. Especially as they get to the teenage years.
Right, so then the last thing you would want to make them choose is loyalty.
Right.
Of course, because they're allowed, newsflash, they're allowed to love both of you. And guess what? They're part of both of you.
And that
so when
doesn't-
there's the name calling and the finger pointing back and forth, or your mom did this and your dad did this, you're dissing your own child. Because
Right.
genetically, they're
Right.
part of both of you.
Right.
See, I'm glad you said that, and I fed in to that wholeheartedly. I that's why we have fess up when you mess up on the wall. I fed into that. There were times where I said things, and although my intention was not to have her choose a side, the interpretation does not always match intention.
Yeah, the road to hell is paved with good intention.
Right.
And so when we come back from commercial, we're going to talk about that. And I still didn't curse.
You didn't. You're
God
right.
All right, so this is what you're going to do. I had a flat tire. Do you know who I called?
You called Tommy.
I did, at 631 Tire and Wheel, 666 West Hoffman Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, 11757. Or you could go to 631tire.com, 631-412-5165, and ask for Tommy.
Tell him Theresa sent you.
Or Benny. I'm still here, but he helped me out, and I know he'll help you out.
Well, stop hitting potholes.
Smart move. Went to buy a bunch of patio furniture, went to the guy's house, got destroyed by the weather. I asked him, I go, why didn't you cover this? He says, I didn't know I could. I didn't know how to do that. I said, I got a whole idea for you, buddy. Everything will be sold if you just take care of your equipment. He says, how do I cover it? Guess who I told him to call?
Wrap America.
Absolutely. They have a reusable zipper wrap, completely covers RVs, wave runners, patio equipment. It's great. If you go to wrap-america.com, ask for Tommy if you call 516-830-0040. So, we're not getting out of here on time?
No, we're not.
Is that
that's all your fault.
It is my fault. All right, so then I want lunch.
Yes.
Does that mean I have to buy lunch?
Yes.
If I'm buying lunch, I want Giovanni's Pizza.
You got it.
All right, so I'm going to call 631-669-9507. They're at 1009 Little East Neck Road in West Babylon, New York, 11704. And I am getting a chicken parm. I know your father likes that.
Oh, my father loves his chicken parm.
I love everything they make. Gio, I'm getting fat and it's your fault, but I love every minute of it.
Hey, Ben, did you know 65% of people have curly hair? And the biggest problem that holds them back from embracing their curl is frizz.
Frizz.
Yes.
I do know about frizz.
Curl Evolution, located at 233 East Main Street in Babylon Village, is solving that problem.
Good.
They're Long Island's top curly salon. They specialize in cuts and colors, especially for curly hair.
I'll tell you, if you have a bad hair day, that's who you go to.
Yes, you do. They cut curls differently as well, totally different than straight hair. It's done dry.
Dry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Teach me more.
Yeah. It's because of their individual curl pattern.
Oh.
They have over 2,500 five-star reviews, so you can check them out at curlevolution.com. They're located at 233 East Main Street in Babylon, 631-422-4200.
I want my hair to be curly just so I can go.
Yes.
I'm going. Listen, if you need a lawyer, I'm going to tell you what to do. A lot of this show is about divorce, taking the proper steps to get divorced. If you're going to do that, you want the right attorney. The right attorney is more than half the battle, if you ask me.
Yes.
So what I would do, I think you know who I'm going to tell people to call.
Yes.
Who am I going to tell them to call?
Gene Mercurio.
Absolutely. 57 West Main Street, Suite 130, Babylon. What's that number again?
It's 631-543-0032.
Gene is a friend and a warrior of the show. Give her a call.
And we're back.
So, so everyone misses what happens in
Yes.
the break time, and
Yeah.
I still didn't curse. Oh,
You didn't.
I didn't. But there's no law against people getting a divorce, figuring out what would be the benefit for both parties, and the child included. Wouldn't that be a trip?
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it?
We need to add another hashtag. hashtag cheapest divorce on Long Island. Put your child first. Stop
Right.
fighting. Stop
Yeah.
arguing. It's not about you.
Oh
Put
my
your child
God.
first, and you'll have
that.
you'll have the cheapest divorce
Put
on Long
your
Island.
wait. Time out. That's so
Is
great.
she using big words, Ben? And you don't know what they mean.
I know what she meant. So, rewind. Hashtag put your child first.
Yeah.
Hashtag cheapest way to get divorced or cheapest divorce.
Either
Either or.
Right.
or, because then you have money to spend on your child's future. When clients come into me as a parent would, I said, you can pay for my kids to go to college, or you can pay for your own. Where do you
Right.
want to go with this?
See, I like the fact that you're honest because I
Yeah.
have met people that are like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. We're going to take him to court.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because you get paid on a retainer by an hourly rate, the longer the case goes on,
The more money
the
you
more
make.
money you make. But at the end of the day, I would rather have happy clients who refer me extra business, or maybe somebody's going through an unfortunate circumstance of their own, than miserable clients who are absolutely destitute. Their children become collateral damage, and they're all worse for the wear. They've lost their home. They've mortgaged the other thing up to the hilt. They have no retirement. They have no savings, and their children have no future because there's no prospect of education in the future because there's no money left because they just wasted it all fighting about
Right.
stupid stuff. Stupid stuff.
On flat screen TVs.
On flashy. Listen, I will say that I do know of people that went through divorce, and it's so common, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like
What's the divorce rate now?
it's over 50%, right?
Yeah.
She don't even have a 50-50 shot.
No.
Well, is there like a number you reach, like once you pass this number, like you're safe?
As far as years married,
Yeah.
I think it depends on what you're doing during those years married.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So like it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've heard people tell me it's not normal to want to stay with the same person for the rest of your life.
Who
Or-
are these people you hang out with?
I never said I hung out with them.
Okay.
I just said I heard it.
Just don't.
But if you want to spend time with your child for the rest of your life,
So when
Yeah.
when we started the idea of the show, we put out a few feelers to see if anyone wanted to interview.
And every crazy person in the universe came at us.
I'm gonna tell you what divorce is really like.
Yes.
And I mean,
Let me tell you.
countless calls.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you think it's you, well, it probably is. But
Yeah, it probably is.
It probably is, but it might not be because I mean, some of the stuff I heard, I was like, and then so I called Theresa. I'm like, I gotta just tell you, like, I don't think we could use this on the show because you'll fire me as a co-host.
Yeah.
And she's like, what happened? And then I tell her, and after we stop laughing,
Right.
she's like, I don't think we can put that on the show. Like the whole idea
Right.
is, why is it that we invest so much negative anger, like energy into divorce?
And
the
hate.
reason why to get divorced is to be happy,
Right. Because you want to move on.
right?
that's the goal. You want to move forward and you want to move on. Okay, this isn't working.
Right.
Let's put a period at the end of the sentence and open a new chapter. But you
Yes.
spend so much time, you're writing a completely different book instead of living your happy life.
So, as an advocate for the child, and let's
As
say
an attorney for the child.
attorney, sorry, but you're still an advocate.
Correct.
Holler. So, as both an advocate and an attorney for the child, when let's say a spouse has an extracurricular affair, or like they have
An extracurricular activity.
activity, or maybe 3 or 4. Who knows? We literally have heard all the stories, and we
Yes.
really wish we could put them on the air, but
Yeah.
we want to keep the show.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I think we would. So, but when that happens, and the child's in the middle of that, right? Like, daddy has someone else, or mommy has someone else, or 2 someone else's, or 3. How does that impact the child?
It depends on how you let it impact the child. For example, if you're doing your, as you said, extracurricular activities, when
That's
the
the clean
other
way of saying
parent,
it.
when the other parent has the child, and the child is not being introduced to, here's your new mom, here's your new dad, or oh, let's all go to the fair together, and who is this person? Because that's different than the person we went to the movies with the day before, and pizza with the week before, and
Ugh.
bowling the night before. So
Right.
that's the difference. If you're doing what you're doing as an adult and making those adult decisions away from your child, when the child is with the other parent, for lack of a better phrase, you do you.
Yeah.
Granted, adultery is still a crime in the state of New York, but you make your own personal decisions. But it's how you allow those decisions to impact the child
Right.
or your relationship between
Right. It's not
yourself
like you-
and your
Yes.
soon-to-be ex-spouse.
It's
Right.
not like you want your child to understand terms like, Daddy, what's a champagne room?
Right.
'Cause
Your child should never know that.
Yeah. Sunshine said she met you in the champagne room.
Yeah.
And
That's
that you're
bad.
and that you're a generous tipper.
That's
Daddy,
bad.
what does that mean? I think we want to
Yeah.
keep away from that. I hope no one's that blatant, but people
Right,
people
yeah.
do surprise you.
Yeah.
Correct, and we see people at their absolute worst.
Right.
Sure. Well, I mean, listen,
Hurt people hurt people. So
That's
if you're hurt, you're going to
100%.
go and try to hurt somebody else. Unfortunately, because you're operating on a point of hurt. There's no rationale to that.
You know, and we do want to laugh here because I don't think it all has to be so tragic and serious.
Right.
But the truth is, hurt people do hurt people.
Right.
And that right there sums it all up.
Yeah.
So long as there's emotion, so long as there's feeling, we want to find accountability for it. So one of the things, and I remember when I was taking a class to do hypnosis.
You hypnotize people? You
Yeah,
can't.
I
Come on. Come on.
This is my job, man.
All right.
People gonna listen, be like, I'm not letting him touch me. He's not coming in my room. So I've actually had some pretty interesting hypnosis.
Oh my
clients with
gosh,
hypnosis.
I could those stories.
No, they cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when someone wants to remember their childhood. I
Yeah.
think that was the most impactful, and I don't want to say too much because this person might listen to the show. It was this person had divorce in their life, and in our sessions together as a coach, as a sober coach, this person could not remember anything at all from their childhood. So we did this regression. It was and very calmly, and I'm actually getting choked up. I joke around a lot. But
I know.
I'm very passionate about what I do. I
Yes,
don't like
you are.
bullies.
I
and
know.
I don't like anything that hurts people.
Yeah, you don't.
And when you see someone, I mean, this is a grown person, and then they opened their eyes and the tears just came flying down.
Yeah. That's hurt.
Yeah, and they looked at me and they go, I saw it. So the session ended, and I went in my car. Man, I cried like a 2-year-old. I just, that's such an amazing thing, and I have to believe that you have rewards like that, because when you help someone, that's
Right.
That's a blessing. Can you be in touch with something that you remember? You worked with a child, and then you
And they
had
remember a
such-
happy time. Like they
Yeah.
remember happy times with mom. They remember happy times with dad. They're,
And when I interview children, because that's what I do when you meet with your client, you try to ascertain their position. When you interview them, that's a lot of the stuff that I focus on.
Right.
It's like, what's the best? Tell me the best thing about your dad. Tell me the best thing about your mom.
Right.
And sometimes it's, oh my God, they make the best spaghetti meatballs, or I love the time when we go to the park. And those are the focuses. Okay, how can we allow those experiences to be continued in this child's life? What type of schedule can we come up with that'll allow that client to have those authentic experiences with both of their parents? And not everyone does it the same way, but I like to maximize the time that the child gets to spend with both of their parents. So it's, okay, when does mom work? When does dad work? And a lot of the times grandparents are involved or aunts and uncles are involved. I
Right.
really want to see my cousins, or I really we always do this with grandma. I want to be able to do that too. And if the parents are willing to work toward that, you can model a schedule or a framework in a settlement type of way that will benefit that child long term. So they're not going to become collateral damage in the divorce. They're not going to look back on, oh my goodness, my entire high school career, my entire high school experience was my parents fighting over me in divorce. And you know what? When they graduate high school, they're gone. They want to get away from that situation
Right.
so far that I'm going to school in California.
yeah. Like I want to
wait,
go to
wait,
school.
you just
I
wanted to
wanna
go
to school
upstate.
in Alaska.
Yeah, I'm going as far away from this situation as possible because it was miserable. Or you say turning pain into power. Or on the other hand, you can arm them with, we are going through a really tough time, but you know what? We're going to get through this as a family.
We're
not
going
to put you in. We're going to put a team. We're not going to put you in the middle. We're not going to call irreparable harm where you end up having, unfortunately, a substance abuse issue, or you're looking for love in all the wrong places because.
Sure.
No one's focusing on you because they're so angry with each other. Where's our child tonight? Oh, they're out with a friend. Do you know who that friend is? Because before someone filed for divorce, you knew where they were and who they were with, and you called those parents. Not, oh goodness, I get a free night.
Right. Yes, I think Chris Rock said it. My job as a dad is to make sure my daughter's not dancing on stage
pole
with clear heels.
It's my job, right? It's my job to keep you off the pole.
Yeah, I don't know if we're allowed to say that on air.
But I think
we just did.
But I think that all parents want better for their children. That's the
Yeah,
whole thing. I want to give my children more than I had when I grew up. Okay, wonderful. But how do we make that happen?
Right.
We don't make that happen by pointing fingers at the other parent,
right,
and talking bad about mom or daddy.
Right.
I think what the great thing you said is about how you talk to the child about. All right, what was
your greatest
memory of dad? What was the best? Dad made great spaghetti meatballs. Mom makes this, and dad takes me there. Mom takes me there. And if people could get out of their own way, put their opinion to the side, put their pride in their pocket for like a minute. Again,
you never do that.
That's not true. I am actually good at what I do, folks, when you listen.
Yes, he is very good at what he
I'm
does.
her life coach. Theresa, I love you.
You know I love you.
So one thing, this show has definitely been one of the funnest. I'll tell you that much. So it's funny. You laugh a lot, and I.
Yes.
She's got to be like, oh my God.
She's awesome.
We don't need a divorce attorney. We're good.
We're good.
So I think it would be, so when we come back from the break, we're going to, the constructive conclusion is where we're going to go now. And like, what could we do more than about how to have a cheap divorce, or how can we salvage this? How can we save ourselves? So I'm going to the bathroom, folks.
I'm going to pay the bills.
And she's going to pay the bills. We'll be right back. All right, so this is what you're going to do. I had a flat tire. Do you know who I called?
You called Tommy.
I did, at 631 Tire and Wheel, 666 West Hoffman Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, 11757. Or you can go to 631tire.com, 631-412-5165, and ask for Tommy.
Tell him Theresa sent you.
Or Benny. I'm still here, but he helped me out, and I know he'll help you out.
Well, stop hitting potholes.
Smart move. Went to buy a bunch of patio furniture, went to the guy's house, got destroyed by the weather. I asked him, I go, why didn't you cover this? He says, I didn't know I could. I didn't know how to do that. I said, I got a whole idea for you, buddy. Everything will be sold if you just take care of your equipment. He says, how do I cover it? Guess who I told him to call?
Wrap America.
Absolutely. They have a reusable zipper wrap, completely covers RVs, wave runners, patio equipment. It's great. If you go to wrap-america.com, ask for Tommy if you call 516-830-0040. So, we're not getting out of here on time?
No, we're not.
Is that
that's all your fault.
It is my fault. All right, so then I want lunch.
Yes.
Does that mean I have to buy lunch?
Yes.
If I'm buying lunch, I want Giovanni's Pizza.
You got it.
All right, so I'm going to call 631-669-9507. They're at 1009 Little East Neck Road in West Babylon, New York, 11704. And I am getting a chicken parm. I know your father likes that.
Oh, my father loves his chicken parm.
I love everything they make. Gio, I'm getting fat and it's your fault, but I love every minute of it.
Hey, Ben, did you know 65% of people have curly hair? And the biggest problem that holds them back from embracing their curl is frizz.
Frizz?
Yes.
I do know about frizz.
Curl Evolution, located at 233 East Main Street in Babylon Village, is solving that problem.
Good.
They're Long Island's top curly salon. They specialize in cuts and colors, especially for curly hair.
I'll tell you, if you have a bad hair day, that's who you go to.
Yes, you do. They cut curls differently as well, totally different than straight hair. It's done dry.
Dry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Teach me more.
Yeah. It's because of their individual curl pattern.
Oh.
They have over 2,500 five-star reviews, so you can check them out at curlevolution.com. They're located at 233 East Main Street in Babylon, 631-422-4200.
I want my hair to be curly just so I can go.
Yes.
I'm going. Listen, if you need a lawyer, I'm going to tell you what to do. A lot of this show is about divorce, taking the proper steps to get divorced. If you're going to do that, you want the right attorney. The right attorney is more than half the battle, if you ask me.
Yes.
So what I would do, I think you know who I'm going to tell people to call.
Yes.
Who am I going to tell them to call?
Gene Mercurio.
Absolutely. 57 West Main Street, Suite 130, Babylon. What's that number again?
It's 631-543-0032.
Gene is a friend and a warrior of the show. Give her a call. And we are back with the last segment, and we're going to talk about our constructive conclusion on probably one. They were all fun, so it would be unfair to say that. But I like the fact that we're laughing, and because it reminds us that it doesn't have to be so goddamn tragic.
It doesn't have to be so serious.
It doesn't. It doesn't. You know, the idea is one thing that I remember. I was arguing with the mother of my child, and I'm like arguing, and I remember thinking,
you're not going to change their mind.
Well, we didn't agree when we were married.
Right. What makes you think you're going
we're like
to agree
not
now?
Friends now. She's really not going to agree with me now. You know, so I had to learn to let go.
Yeah.
And this is very personal to me.
Yeah.
What you do is very personal to me because you know there was mistakes that I made, and that we all made, right? And I think the one of the goals of this show is so that people can listen and get an idea, like, hey, let me not do that.
Right.
Like, okay, so I'm gonna break the no cursing rule right now. Mm-hmm. There is this idea, like, don't be a dick.
Right.
Like, how do I not be a dick?
Right.
And we can do that. It's possible to say, hey, you know, if the reason anything I did in my divorce is because I was angry. And
as most people.
Yeah, but again, fessing up when I mess up. Thank you, Fran. We miss you and love you. It's because I was judging myself, and I had this odd perception of the world looking at me like I was this terrible human being because what she's saying about me and she's telling people. And even if she was telling people I was terrible, so what?
Right.
They weren't my friends. I didn't like her friends. They didn't like me none too much neither. Right. But they weren't my friends. They're not in my life. I don't see them. The only, and the reason why we call this a constructive conclusion is because I believe at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and come to a constructive conclusion at the end of each day. And that just makes sense to me, right? So when people get out of their own way, I assume that makes your life and your job so much easier.
Yeah, we actually have this joke that the best type of divorce where you have two levels of a law office.
Right.
One level is just literally like rock'em sock'em robots, like mud wrestling each other. Just get your anger and your emotions out, and then go upstairs and have a mediation session where you simply just hammer out the issues. Because at the end of the day, the emotions are extremely important. They got you where you are, but at the end, you need to operate under the auspices of logic.
Right.
Not emotion.
Right, exactly. Not emotion.
What's good for us? What's good for our children? What's good for our family? So we can save our reserves and be able to maintain separate households where the children will be comfortable to go to both of them and not be miserable.
And like go to like a vacation other than White Castles.
Right.
Right. Well, I was going to take you.
White Castle.
We were totally going to Aruba.
But
I lost. So, do you want to supersize it, kid? Like, I don't know what to tell you.
They have a
one French fry. Right. One French fry.
You can get a 6-piece instead of a 4-piece.
But one of the things, I know this might sound heart-wrenching, but it also might sound completely awesome. When children are asked what they want from their parents, it's not stuff.
Right.
I had one child client who his parents were literally fighting over him. One day he got an iPhone. Then the other parent got them an iPad. Then they got a zip line. Then they got a puppy. And you know what they wanted? All they wanted was actual time spent with their parent. Not presence, presents, but the physical presence of their parent. Get down on the floor and play Legos with me. Please
Yeah.
read me a story. Like, let's just go to the park. We don't have to, like, have the crazy meal before the park or go to Aruba. Just take me to the pool or the
Right.
beach. Let's dig in the sand. Let's do stuff together as a family or
No.
with my parent because
Yeah.
that's the stuff I'm going to remember.
I agree, but Aruba would be cool.
Aruba.
Yeah,
I
Aruba's
never-
great if your parents are there and spending time with you.
I-
Instead
yeah,
of you dropping you off at the kids club and going to
Right.
drink.
And go right. Yes.
Well, as someone in recovery, I won't be the one drinking. But I think that I never had the chance to take my daughter away on a vacation. We a couple of times. So years ago, I wrote a small, like a short story called "A Summer in the Kitchen," and I wrote it in this like little A-frame cottage, and it was in Pennsylvania, a place called Rimrock, and how I found that was so. I just went through divorce, and my wife found it, and she found it online, and we went there, and I wrote it. I finished out my book there, and it was so meaningful, and I was like sharing this with my daughter, like this. I was here when I was like 12 years old, 11 years old with my whole family, and we went sleigh riding together, and I was thinking about how amazing that feeling was. And yet at the same time, that was amazing, right? But yet how many times did I nitpick over BS that makes no sense? So in my effort to be right and be validated, what did I do? I missed out on sleigh riding or things like that with her. I don't think she liked sleigh riding, though. I don't think she dug it as much as I did.
All right.
I don't
She
think
tried it, though.
Well, when she was little, it was a smaller hill, and I was like holding her. But then, like when she got older, I remember putting her down another hill, and what's exciting to me, and that's something we should talk about. What's enjoyable to me might not be enjoyable to them.
Right.
We went fishing, and I was like, "Aren't you having fun?" She's like,
No.
That's the other thing, to find out what your child's actually into.
Mm-hmm.
You may want them to be a professional soccer player. They may love to dance or build the set for a
Right.
I think
a program at their school.
I think when a lot of parents have a problem, and this was something that I had a problem, getting your kid off the friggin' phone.
Yes.
Put the phone
off
down.
the
pal.
Roblox. Get off the Roblox.
But who's paying the bill? You're the parent. That's what a lot of the times, that's what parents forget. You're the parent. You should not have children if you would like to be their friends. If you're looking for friends, you don't want an infant or a
Right.
5-year-old. Like,
Sure.
make friends your own size.
Yeah.
You're the parent. So if they're not getting off the phone, and I understand, it's technology is intense. It's intense. You take the phone away or the charger, it's as if they lost their arm.
Yes.
They would rather have you beat them
Yeah.
than
Yes.
take away their technology. But at
100%.
the end of the day, they don't have it for a while. Guess what? They're going to turn into that
Yes.
child you used to
They
know
do something
who
else.
enjoyed helping in the kitchen, or let's go rake some leaves. Because yes, it's work, but then you have a big pile to jump in. And you're actually having authentic memories instead of, what are you going to remember your childhood? I stared at a screen with Roblox. I was really, really good at Fortnite.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Fortnite,
what?
Xbox,
Yeah.
all that. I mean,
And then what? What are they looking forward to? What
Well,
memories
when
are you
they
going to
get
share with your
older-
children?
Right.
when they get older, again, you take that away, and it's just like you
They would rather you
literally-
beat them. And I've
You're
actually
the-
had child kind.
You're the
No,
meanest
you
person
can't.
in the world. I hate
Yeah,
you.
I hate you. You get the I hate yous.
I never got an I hate you, but I don't want to come see you anymore. And I don't want any dad to have to go through that. The one thing
Or
I
any
did
parent,
learn,
Yeah.
the one thing I did learn is when a woman has a child, she evolves. And as a husband, what I did wrong is I did not learn to evolve with her. We were not the right match, and that's obvious. That was obvious for a lot of different reasons. I mean, we had problems far before my child was born, but I didn't learn how to evolve with her. I also I didn't get my hands in there, and when you don't do that, that comes up to bite you in the back.
Yeah.
100%.
You meant to say bite you in the ass. You did.
I'm trying not to.
I know.
I said dick twice, now 3
You
times.
did.
But that's because we have a don't be a dick clause. I don't think that's really bad. And actually,
not.
dick could be Richard. I know someone named Richard Cranium. You get it? You get it? You
get
see
it.
that? All right. So, what was the best part of the show, aside from meeting us?
Meeting you, laughing, having some adult interaction. Also,
Excellent.
but honestly, as far as being an attorney for children, the best part of the show was to explain again.
Yes.
I cannot take your children away. No attorney for children can take your children away.
Well,
Perfect.
And I'm not allowed to advocate for what your child's, quote, best interests are. I advocate for what they want as their attorney.
Right.
So
But the laughing is awesome, too.
yeah. But so what we do, so anyone that comes on the show becomes family
Yes.
and a resource. So the one thing we want people to do is to have information, not misinformation.
Right.
So
And that was the whole point of the show.
yeah, and so that means
Yeah, Google Hearts. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great, but when you're getting law from California, it's not going to impact you in New York.
Right.
yeah, or like a WebMD. What the hell?
Oh, please don't even get me started on WebMD.
And then you get to another symptom. Wait, do my toenails
Wait,
really itch?
I have that.
Wait, do they itch? And then they start itching.
Yes.
No, my God.
But I only had a headache, and now I have my toenails itches, and I
Now I
have little,
now have
palsy on the
cancer
left
and
side.
AIDS.
Yes.
What the hell? All roads lead to like cancer. I remember I felt a bump in a humbling place. So I go to a doctor, and I'm like, "Listen, man."
I Googled it. I went on WebMD, and I know I'm dying.
I go, "Listen,
Do
just
you have a
give it
mosquito
to-"
Right.
bite?
It was not a mosquito bite, and it was in a place that
Mosquitoes shouldn't travel. Understood.
I hope not. And I remember, so the doctor's like feeling it, and I'm like, buddy, like he's like, you're fine. It's not what you think it is. It's not a tumor. It's not anything. And I says, okay, fine. And then he invites his like whomever it was who was like interning, and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm just a little uncomfortable with this, buddy. I'm a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So like, a little we're good. WebMD, I'm staying away from that.
Yes,
and that
me
was
too.
my lesson. So that being said, I had a great time.
I had a fantastic time.
And she had a fantastic time. And she's the queen of everything.
I try.
No, Theresa, the queen of everything.
Fantastic.
That's line. So we
She's got her own
definitely.
hashtag.
Yeah, so she does. She has a lot. She's someone with my tremendous respect as well. So, we're gonna close it out today, and I'm really glad. Thanks for coming.
No,
Thank
I
you
appreciate
so
the
much.
opportunity. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And hope you had fun. And
Of course.
you totally have to come back, and you have to answer the phone when we call because we have questions.
No
Answer
problem.
the phone
I'm
when we
happy to
call.
answer questions. I really am.
Excellent.
Especially armed with actual information instead
Right.
of misinformation makes it so much easier. 'Cause
Yes.
it takes the fear out of it.
It does.
It really does.
So hashtag cheapest divorce.
Hashtag put your children
Put your
first.
children first.
Hashtag shut your mouth. Not for nothing, right? Like, have you ever wanted to say that to somebody?
I have said that to somebody.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a few people that we have a list. If you could just call them
You
and
could
be
just
like,
call them.
shut your mouth.
You're not
Who
help-
is this? Don't
You're not
worry
helping.
Don't worry
Please.
about it. Just shut your mouth.
Mind your business next. All right. Well, folks,
We say it a
love you.
different way. You're not advancing your case.
You're not advancing.
You're
your
not
case?
advancing your case.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to listen than to
I
be
have
heard.
more of a
Right.
street accent. I don't think it sounds like the way I said it. You're not advancing your case.
You're not advancing your case.
Me, I like shut up. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's us, and we're out, and we'll
Out.
see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Thank you.